Howdy everyone, it's Reese, aka Bearman Prime on this March 2nd. Welcome back to my Read the Bible in a Year series. Thank you again for joining me. Card in the top right hand corner for the rest of the playlist. Please hit that like button if you're enjoying this series so far, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you stay caught up. So yesterday, we saw the people of Israel take their first steps into their promised land as they crossed over the Jordan River on dry land thanks to the miracles of God, and they are now preparing to take the land first with the city of Jericho. So we're going to go over to Joshua chapter 5 and start in verse 13, where Joshua meets the commander of the Lord's army. And then we'll go all the way through chapter 6, verse 27. So starting in Joshua chapter 5, verse 13. When Joshua was near Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him. The man had a sword in his hand. Joshua went to the man and asked, "Are you a friend to our people, or are you one of our enemies?" The man answered, "I am not an enemy. I am the commander of the Lord's army. I have just now come to show you." And Joshua bowed his face to the ground to show respect and said, "I am your servant. Does my master have a command for me?" The commander of the Lord's army answered, "Take off your sandals. The place where you are standing is holy." So Joshua obeyed him. Chapter 6. The gates of the city of Jericho were closed. The people in the city were afraid because the Israelites were near. No one went into the city, and no one came out. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "Look, I will let you defeat the city of Jericho. You will defeat the king and all the fighting men in the city. March around the city with your army once every day for 6 days. Tell 7 of the priests to carry trumpets made from the horns of male sheep, and to march in front of the priests who are carrying the holy box. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, and tell the priests to blow the trumpets while they march. They will make one loud noise from the trumpets. When you hear that noise, tell all the people to begin shouting. When you do this, the walls of the city will fall down, and your people will be able to go straight into the city." Verse 6. So Joshua, son of Nun, called the priests together and said to them, "Carry the holy box of the Lord. Tell 7 priests to carry the trumpets and march in front of it." Then Joshua ordered the people, "Now go, march around the city. The soldiers with weapons will march in front of the holy box of the Lord." After Joshua finished speaking to the people, the 7 priests with the trumpets began marching before the Lord, blowing the trumpets as they marched. The priests carrying the Lord's holy box followed them. The soldiers with weapons marched in front of the priests who were blowing the horns, and the rest of the men walked behind the holy box, marching and blowing their trumpets. Joshua had told the people not to give a war cry. He said, "Don't shout. Don't say a word until the day I tell you. Then you will shout." So Joshua made the priests carry the holy box of the Lord around the city 1 time. Then they went back to the camp and spent the night there. Early the next morning, Joshua got up, and the priests carried the Lord's holy box again. The 7 priests with the trumpets marched in front of the Lord's holy box, blowing their trumpets. The soldiers with weapons marched in front of them. The rest of the people marched behind the Lord's holy box. During the whole time they marched, the priests were blowing the trumpets. On the 2nd day, they all marched around the city 1 time. Then they went back to the camp. They continued to do this every day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they got up at dawn and marched around the city 7 times. They marched in the same way they had marched on days before, but on that day they marched around the city 7 times. The 7th time they marched around the city, the priests blew their trumpets. Then Joshua gave the command, "Now shout! The Lord is giving you the city. The city and everything is to be destroyed as an offering to the Lord. Only Rahab the prostitute and everyone in her house will be left alive. These people must not be killed because she helped the 2 spies. Remember, we must destroy everything else. Don't take anything. If you take anything and bring it into our camp, you yourselves will be destroyed, and you will cause trouble for the rest of our people. All the things made from silver, gold, bronze, and iron belong to the Lord. They must be put in the Lord's treasury. So then the priests blew the trumpets. When the people heard the trumpets, they began shouting. The walls fell down, and the people ran up into the city. So the Israelites defeated that city. People destroyed everything in that city. They destroyed everything that was living there. They killed the young and the old men, the young and the old women, and the cattle, sheep, and donkeys. Joshua talked to the two spies. He said, "You made a promise to the prostitute, so go to her house and bring her out and all those who are with her." So the two men went into the house and brought out Rahab, her father, mother, brothers, all her family, and all those who were with her. They put all the people in a safe place outside the camp of Israel. Then the Israelites burned the whole city and everything in it except for the things made from silver, gold, bronze, and iron. They put these things in the Lord's treasury. Joshua saved Rahab the prostitute, her family, and all those who were with her. Joshua let them live because Rahab helped the spies Joshua had sent out to Jericho. Rahab still lives among the Israelites today. At that time, Joshua made this important promise. He said, "Whoever rebuilds Jericho will be in danger from the Lord. When he lays the foundation, he will lose his oldest son. When he sets up the gates, he will lose his youngest son." So the Lord was with Joshua, and Joshua became famous throughout the whole country. All right, so there you go. The Battle of Jericho wasn't actually much of a battle. So God did another miraculous thing. He showed his power, and he showed the Israelites, "I am going to do this for you. I am going to fight the battle for you. All you have to do is just obey what I said." And he gave very strange commands. He told them, "March around the city. Just do one lap around the city, 6 days, blow the trumpets, don't make another sound. On the seventh day, march around the city 7 times, and then make as much noise as you can." And they obeyed, even though they're probably like, "This is kind of a weird battle plan. I don't know what's going on." But they obeyed God. They promised Joshua they would follow his commands, so they did. And God blessed them and did his great thing, and the walls just came tumbling down. And of course, God and Joshua kept their promise to Rahab and her family of keeping them safe. And he also forbade Israel from taking anything that was in the city. Anything that could be destroyed was destroyed, and everything that was made of silver, gold, bronze, and iron was to be put into the Lord's treasury. This is because the Lord did not want Israel to be tempted with these things, especially the things that were made by human hands, the idols. Okay, idols were a bad thing, and Israel had a lot of trouble with idols and idolatry and worshiping other gods. So they were forbidden from taking any of that. All of that belonged to God. And then, of course, in order to take the land and let it be theirs, they had to kill all of the people living there. They had to wipe them out completely. Not one of them could be left alive. And this is because, again, temptation. If anyone's left alive, then Israel might become tempted to assimilate them and maybe adopt some of their customs, which go against God, which, spoiler alert, does happen. So, anyway, that is all for today. We're going to pick it up there tomorrow. Thank you again for joining me. I sure do appreciate it. See y'all tomorrow.